What's happening, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Ronnie Rants, Tommy Chrysan. It's the Friday morning edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Hope everybody's having a good one. LSU Tigers last night get off to a big
All right, Ronnie Rance popped away for a second. He'll be back shortly. Oh, all right. Ronnie Rance will be back shortly. As usual, I'm at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood where they got boiled crawfish, 3 o'clock today and tomorrow. Actually doing that every day, the Big Tuesday special. You can call to order live crawfish. They can cater your crawfish boil. Mike Tremonti and the staff do a great job. Hot crawfish, 3 o'clock today and tomorrow. All right, there, Ronnie, we got you back. Good deal with your Rougarou gear on.
Yeah, talking about a little LSU baseball, the Tigers went 7-1 last night. And by the way, as you pointed out, I think it was back-to-back games. The Tigers won 7-1.
Yeah, they beat Grambling 7-1, and then 7-1, and then the other thing jumps out first. That's 3 straight wins for LSU, and that Oklahoma did not score in Hammond Tuesday night against the Lions, and they only scored 1 last night on 4 hits, and that run came late, 6th inning. So Oklahoma struggling. LSU, I mean, okay, you got the first one, that's over. Got to get tonight and tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And you're on the call tonight, so I'm looking forward to that.
A couple of things that jump out at you. One is, Case and Evans pitched one of the best games, arguably in LSU baseball history. He goes 7 2/3, strikes out 15, just total domination. The changeup was so filthy. I mean, that's really was the difference maker and why he had so many strikeouts is because he was throwing that 82, 83 mile an hour changeup coming off of a 95 mile an hour fastball and it was dancing, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, he was incredible. I watched it all. I mean, he was on, as they say. He was in that zone, in fuego, whatever. And then the only run he gave up was unearned because of a huge mental error by York. You don't throw the ball from first to third unless somebody's hung up between second and third. Okay, I knew that when I was 12. That for being a fifth-year senior guy, that was a huge mental error to try to throw it to third in the spot he did, knowing the game situation. With Skip said awareness, HWA got to know what's going on. So that was a mental mistake, but they were able to overcome it. They did leave 10 guys on base, and they only had 7 hits, but all the walks. Cam Johnson, his return to Baton Rouge, didn't go as he hoped it would, or Coach Skip Johnson hoped it would. No relation there, as he couldn't throw a strike to save his butt. And Case and Evans did nothing but throw strikes. So what was Evans right here? Let's see. He threw 110 pitches, 76 for strikes. That's going to win a lot. That's going to be successful.
I didn't throw 76 strikes in 2 outings. No, it was pretty incredible. The thing, Cam Johnson, I feel sorry for this young man. He's in his 3rd year at Oklahoma. This guy was, at the time when he came to LSU, he was the highest rated player ever in LSU baseball history to sign with the Tigers out of high school. The guy threw 100 miles an hour one time in a pre-draft workout before the draft, before he came to LSU. Left-handed, 6'5", 6'6", throws 100. He's supposed to be the next superstar. What we know about him now is that he came his first year at LSU. Nice kid, good family, all the things. He left after his first year. This is his 2nd season in Oklahoma. I know he had some mental challenges. He's had some difficulty there, and I feel like he had done well early in the year this year for Oklahoma. He even had some starts where he didn't walk anybody. I feel like he came back to Baton Rouge and those old demons jumped on his shoulder. Tommy he was back on a mound that he struggled to throw strikes in front of his old team, in front of his old coaches, and I think that stress and that pressure was just too much. I really do believe that Cam Johnson will one day pitch in the major leagues. I think he will figure it out at some point. He's too talented not to. But last night, he just absolutely imploded. He was fortunate to get it out of the 1st inning, and he didn't make it out of the 2nd.
Well, I think they were doing what Ben and Dave Neal were talking about. They were trying to extend him a little bit, knowing it was early because they got 2 more games this weekend, and they didn't want to kill the bullpen. And it was so early in the game. It's not like it was the fifth inning where you didn't have time to try to come back. So that was the good point there. But no, and I don't know if he's going to pitch in the big leagues, right? And when he missed, he missed. Okay, we always talk about that. If you're just missing right below the zone or just outside, but he was missing all over the ballpark, mostly arm side, as Ben McDonald pointed out. And it just was a bad night for him, put his team in a hole. And then it was some errors. They made 3 errors in one inning. That certainly didn't help Cam Johnson. But hey, bottom line is LSU got the win. Now 2-2 in league play, and 6:30 tonight, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Oklahoma might be right there for the taking. They're ranked 8th at the beginning of the week, losing to Southeastern. If LSU would take 2 out of 3 or take all 3, Oklahoma will fall considerably in the rankings, and LSU may jump in and join the Raging Cajuns in the bottom of the top 25.
Yeah, the Oklahoma, the only bright spot was Xander Mercurius threw 5 innings and kind of only gave up 2 runs. Those came late and was able to kind of save the bullpen a little bit for them.
And his brother
But
throws tonight. I think his brother's going to pitch tonight for Oklahoma.
yeah, Oklahoma, by the way, some Louisiana ties. Todd Butler involved with that program, and Todd, of course, was former head coach at McNeese and assistant at Alabama, and was at McNeese as an assistant as well. And
wasn't he
has
at
a lot of
Arkansas
ties.
as well? Wasn't he?
He
Didn't
was at
Todd
Arkansas, but I want to say his mother. I think he had like a daughter went to LSU, or his family's in Baton Rouge, but Todd's got some ties here. All right, let's discuss the NCAA tournament, Tommy.
Oh,
High Point knocks off Wisconsin at 12, beats a 5. Not a lot of upsets, but there almost was one. There was Duke was losing by double digits at halftime to who were they playing, Tommy? The 16th seed.
Sierra.
Duke was playing
Sierra.
Siena was up by double digits. When they came out in the second half, they had a nice little 5-minute period there. They were still up, but Siena was up 13, and their player went down the lane and missed a dunk. It hit off the back of the rim and shot out to almost half court. It ended up being a dunk for Duke the other way. And after that missed dunk, which would have put them up 15, it's like the momentum just shifted Duke's way. I think they went on an 11 or 13-0 run, and and now Siena hung in there to the last about 5 minutes, but Duke ended up winning. Siena, of course, easily covered, but man, that was almost arguably the biggest upset of all time.
Yeah, the double-digit halftime that Duke trailed, the biggest number 1 seed ever trailed at half, or tied the biggest number. But they did win. You saw the thing about High Point, the kid that made the bucket at the end. It was his first 2-pointer of the year. He's a 3-point specialist. He bombs them away. He never made a 2-point basket. I think that adds to the story. That's so cool. Hey, the McNeese Cowboys hung in there with Vanderbilt. They covered but didn't win the game. In the SEC, only Georgia lost out of the SEC. So the SEC had a pretty good showing. But, yeah, it was the typical Thursday of March Madness. There could be more madness today in the NCAA tournament. And, of course, we'll get to it in a minute, but Kim Mulkey's team plays today, too, on the women's side.
McNeese was down 3 at halftime to Vanderbilt, and they, like you said, they hung in there, just ran out of gas. They were up 8 or something like that in the first half. Vandy went on a run in the last 3 minutes of the first half, and that changed the dynamic of the game. And then McNeese was playing from behind most of the rest of the way. They did lose by 10. The line was 12.5 at tip. You and I both won a couple coins on that one. Talking about LSU women today, Tommy, they opened up, the line was 49.5. They're 49.5, but now it's grown.
This morning when I was making notes for Sports Shorts Friday, I saw 51.5-point favorite. But Jacksonville's 24-8. That's their record. Now that the strength of schedule is probably nothing. I don't know it, but 51.5. My old buddy Dave in Las Vegas would say, you got to take 51.5. If you can start the game winning 51.5 to nothing, you got to do that. You don't take them on the money line, obviously, but I think with Flau'jae Johnson and Kim Mulkey, the arena is going to be packed. Okay, it's going to be packed. It'll be wild. It'll be crazy. They may just cover it. So I might have to put just a few coins. Some of them McNeese coins I won yesterday might have to go on 51.5.
Yeah, no, that's the other game. What's crazy is that's the first game of the day. The second game of the day, which features what Texas Tech is taking on
Villanova, and Tech's a 1.5 favorite in that game. So obviously a much more competitive game. And then the two winners will meet at a time to be determined on Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be based on a little bit of TV as far as there. Don't look now, Tommy, but the Pelicans are hot, and
Well,
I mean the Pelicans are in fuego in the last month.
No, they are hot. They're 23-46 overall. Against the Pelicans, playing 11 games under 500. So that was a bad idea that I had.
Yeah. 11 games under 500.
All right,
No betting
Ronnie
against the
throws
Pels
up
against
on
the
us right
line.
there. Remind you, Tremonti's has got the bowl crawfish today. 3 o'clock, hot out the pot. Hot out the pot at 3 o'clock. All right, we're having technical difficulties. We apologize for that. But hot out the pot at 3 o'clock today and tomorrow. You can call to order live crawfish. They can cater your crawfish bowl, whether you need 100 pounds or 5,000 pounds. Tremonti's can do it all for you. All right, Ronnie Rance is back. There we go, Ron.
TK, I was just saying that the Pels, man. I mean, this is the ultimate typical New Orleans crap. The Pels are going to win enough games just for the ping pong balls to get taken away from them. I mean, there's no value. They're not going to make the playoffs. You might as well, not be very good. If you're not going to make the playoffs, you want to be terrible. So you get more opportunities to maybe win the lottery and get the first pick or something. Instead, the Pels keep winning and less ping pong balls. Well done. Just kind of like the Saints at the end of the season. Like, just lose, man. So you move up the board on the draft. Instead, no, we're going to go ahead and beat some teams that, had given up.
They're 25-46 overall. Betting against the Pelicans, you're 30-41. So you're losing money. My idea was not good. They do host the Cavaliers tomorrow. I don't know if they can beat the Cavaliers, but we'll see.
All right, TK. So tonight, LSU baseball back at it. Lynn Rollins and I on the call. They caught Vandy at the right time. They should have won 2 out of 3. They had a 2-run lead in a first game with Gavin Guidry in the mound and lost it. You caught Vandy at the right time. They were playing absolutely terrible. And then this obviously Oklahoma, you're catching Oklahoma at the right time. They're having to go on the road. They got shut out at Southeastern. The bats were cold again last night. That was largely due to Case and Evans. And so LSU in the catbird seat here to try to take this series. So looking forward to that. Of course, LSU women's basketball. I'll be over at the PMAC on Sunday. Won't be there today, but we'll go over there on Sunday to see whoever they take on, Texas Tech or Villanova. TK, tell us about the big news we have coming up.
Oh, yeah, we got big news about Sports Shorts Daily, which has been around for a pretty good while, as everybody knows. We're going to shift gears slightly. Sports Shorts Monday is going to be 6:30 p.m. We'll be at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen for a little nighttime version, probably hang around and get dinner. And then we'll do Sports Shorts Friday at 9 a.m. here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. So that's going to be the plan as of now going forward. Will it change in the fall? We don't know. But Sports Shorts Monday at 6:30. Friday at 9 o'clock, and we'll put up clips during the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But it'll be all over social media, so you'll be able to keep up. But it's effective this week, effective Monday the 23rd. We'll go at 6:30 p.m. and then again on Friday morning. You have a very busy schedule. My schedule ramped up a little bit, and we're still going to be able to do everything that we want to do this way. And of course, it doesn't change Sports Shorts Radio at all.
Well, I'm looking forward to a little Monday night action. I think there'll be a lot more people that'll be able to watch it live and engage with us. And then also, you kind of get the chance to recap the weekend and obviously during football season, we'll be previewing the game that night and all that. So 6:30 p.m. on Monday, I think that's going to be a great time.
This is a little bit ironic, Ronnie. When I go back to 1988, okay, you were in high school. When I first started doing radio at WARB in Covington with the Blossman family, I did Friday and Monday. So Friday I could set up the weekend. Monday I could recap it. And I was the recreation director for the city of Covington, so that fit that schedule too. So now I'm back to like a Friday, Monday, Friday kind of thing here with Sports Shorts Friday, Sports Shorts Monday. We're really, something you and I have talked about for weeks. We're branding it and we're going to roll and hope everybody will jump on board. It's still on YouTube, Facebook, and X. You can always go back and watch later or watch the next morning, which many people do.
All right, TK, looking forward to it. I will see you we'll be on the air tomorrow, Sports Shorts Radio, 10 to noon. Tomorrow we'll be at Mr. Carter's Barbershop. So make sure we tag them when we post about it. But Mr. Carter's Barbershop tomorrow morning, 10 to noon, right on ESPN Radio, Lake Charles, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge. So give us a listen and tell your friends. TK, I will see you on Monday for Sports Shorts Monday.
6:30 Monday night. That's the next Sports Shorts Monday. Appreciate it. All right. And again, don't forget today at Tremonti's, Ball Crawfish, Hot Out the Pot, 3 p.m. today and tomorrow. Call if you want live crawfish. Of course, they got all your other stuff for Lent. You're doing the Lent thing, the fish, the seafood, the shrimp, the crawfish pies, all that stuff. Anything you need to do for that Lent thing, you can do it here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ saying Sports Shorts Monday night at 6:30. Don't forget. Let's put that up one more time. Sports Shorts Monday at 6:30. Sports Shorts Friday at 9 o'clock. Have a great day, everyone.